Hey, I want to talk about the 5 biggest frustrations of mortgage brokers. Number 1, your client's credit is worse than advertised, yet they still believe they're entitled to a mortgage. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this. These guys are flat broke, they've got nothing, sometimes they're in bankruptcy, and they still believe they're entitled to a mortgage. And yeah, I get it. I totally understand and can sympathize with what the borrower is thinking about. But it doesn't do the mortgage broker any good if you don't tell them this stuff in advance, because all it does is make the mortgage broker look like a fool when he comes to the lender and the lender pulls due diligence on the borrower only to find out the borrower's got bankruptcies, they've got bad credit, they've got foreclosures in their past, and no explanations from the mortgage broker as to why this borrower might still be a good borrower for the lender. Look, from the borrower's perspective, I understand. They're in trouble financially. They're trying to dig themselves out by doing that next deal that might make them enough money to clear all their prior debts and issues. And that's totally acceptable. I completely sympathize with the borrower who has that problem and needs help. But if the borrower is dishonest and is going to lie to the lender from the beginning, then the lender's not going to be able to trust the borrower, and it's going to cause a lot of problems later. Usually a lender will just walk away because they weren't getting a straight story from the beginning. So it's always best to tell your mortgage broker what your problems are and let the mortgage broker help you work with the lender to get over those hurdles so you can get a loan done that'll help you get a successful deal. Number 2, when a mortgage broker has to make the call to the client to inform them that the lender won't approve their deal, that it didn't pass underwriting. Now look, there's many reasons that this can happen. Sometimes it's the underwriter. They just don't have a lot of balls to take on a deal that might be a little risky, because it means they might lose their job if they okay a deal that goes bad later. And so underwriters at banks are not going to take on risks, whereas alternative financing lenders may take those risks on as long as they understand what they are up front and in the beginning. So a big frustration for mortgage brokers, is when they have to call the client and tell them they weren't approved for the loan, and especially if the reasons that those approvals were because the borrower didn't tell the truth or the borrower omitted information, whatever the reason is, it's just never something that mortgage brokers really want to do. They want to try to help you get a loan done because they get paid if they can help you achieve that. So always remember to be truthful and honest so your mortgage broker can help you underwrite your deal and submit it to a lender or lenders that can help you get the deal done. Number 3, when a mortgage broker secures a term sheet from a qualified lender for millions of dollars for a borrower, and the borrower refuses to execute the term sheet and pay the due diligence fees. This is maddening to the mortgage broker because they are working their tail off, usually for free. A good mortgage broker will not take upfront fees from you just to source a loan for you. But they need to make fees in the end, and so they want to get a deal done. They're not just going to take your file, usually, and just send it all over the internet to every lender they know, hoping that, something's going to stick to the wall. That is not how a good mortgage broker works. A good mortgage broker is going to selectively send your package to lenders that they know will be comfortable with your deal and can help you get it done. But if you're not ready, if you're a borrower and you're asking a lender to loan you tens of millions of dollars, and you can't write a check for $30,000, $50,000, $200,000, whatever it is the lender needs to do proper due diligence on your deal and to get comfortable that they can loan you the amount of money you're asking for, you as a borrower have serious issues you need to be thinking about. You either A, are broke and you can't afford to do this loan in the first place, which means you probably don't have enough capital to take care of all the third-party reports, to pay your architects and your other consultants. And if you can't do those fundamental things, you're never going to get a deal done. So don't kid yourself and don't waste your mortgage broker's time by sending out deals that you're not prepared to pay for. It doesn't serve anyone, and it wastes everyone's time. Number 4, when your client informs you as a mortgage broker that there are other brokers in the chain and that everybody in the chain each wants a point. As a lender and a developer, I have seen this happen multiple times. There are brokers out there who just pile on and pile on and pile on. The next thing you know, they're asking the lender to fund 5, 6, 7% of the total development costs as broker fees. Well, imagine how that looks to the lender. The lender's not interested in that. Yeah, the borrower is going to pay back whatever the lender lent to him, but as a lender, the lender's trying to reduce or minimize their risk in every deal they do, and by paying out a bunch of superfluous fees to a bunch of mortgage brokers is not a good way for a lender to eliminate risk. One of the things we do when we see this is that we change the requirements in our term sheet, and we only allow a 1% fee to be paid to the mortgage broker or brokers, however many there are. 1% is the max we will pay from loan proceeds. All other money that has been agreed to by the borrower to pay the developer, to pay these mortgage brokers, we tell them that they're going to have to pay it out of their pocket with their own equity because we're not going to fund it out of our loans. And that's the way a lot of lenders are going to do it. You'll see that as you go through more and more lenders. So help your mortgage broker by picking one good mortgage broker instead of getting in a chain of broker after broker after broker that's not going to result in anything. And oh, by the way, the other thing about this that's really maddening to me as a lender, and probably just as maddening to a borrower, is that these brokers don't do anything. They just pass the file from one group to another and expect to get paid an enormous fee for doing whatever they want to do. Remember that and try to keep yourself out of broker change. Number 5, right before closing, everything's going great. The lender's agreed to do the loan. Loan documents are getting done. And in the 11th hour, the borrower decides that they suddenly need better terms from the lender. And so they start negotiating with the lender, either through their attorneys or directly with the borrower, to try to get different terms than what the lender already agreed to. This is not a good idea. You're just going to piss off your lender. And look, the lender doesn't need to make you the loan. Yeah, they may have capital they need to deploy, but they're going to deploy it with people who want to accept what they've got at the price they've got it at. And if you're not going to take that, then you need to go somewhere else. But don't waste your mortgage broker's time by taking the lender, the attorneys, and everybody else that's involved, and all the money that you as the borrower are potentially spending just to get a loan done and closed. Don't waste people's time doing this. Don't waste the lender's time. Don't waste your mortgage broker's time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your consultant's time. It doesn't serve anybody. Except when you sign a term sheet or you sign a commitment with the lender, you need to be ready to live by those rules and agree to those terms and move on. Close the deal and go get it done. There'll be another deal where you can work on better terms in the future.